welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Bassi. Latest report from the Gambia says Yahya Jammeh has agreed to step down but demanded amnesty for any crimes that he may have committed during his 22 years in power. Jammeh, who started negotiations with ECOWAS on Thursday, also demanded permission to stay in Gambia at his home village of Kanyala. However, these demands are not acceptable to ECOWAS, as it noted that Jammeh's continued presence in the Gambia would create disturbances to public order and terrorist movement. Final talks are being led by the Ghanaian President Alpha Condé in the Gambia's capital, Banjul. Jammeh has a choice to stepping down peacefully and follow President Alpha Condé or be taken out by force. Meanwhile, as part of ECOWAS intervention to ensure sustenance of democracy in the Gambia, regional troops led by Nigeria have continued to mobilize in Dakar, Senegal. Their mission is to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order as the handover process is anticipated. Let's join our correspondent, Makut Simon Macham, who is keeping an eye on developments in Dakar, Senegal, for an update.
Well, thank you very much, Studio. We are here in Dakar, Senegal, where troops of the West African countries led by Nigeria are mobilizing for the intervention in Gambia. I have here the Air Force commander of the Nigerian Air Force that's leading these operations here. Sir, what is the situation of deployment and mobilization so far?
Okay, thank you very much. First and foremost, the Nigerian troops deployed for this operation on Wednesday, the 18th, and immediately we got ourselves into the operation fully. We are fully deployed, men, equipment, and we are part and parcel of the operation. As a matter of fact, Nigeria is leading the operation so far.
Okay, so when we talk of the number of troops on ground, what's it like?
Well, I can only tell you that we are sufficiently deployed. We have all that we need. More might be coming, but for now, we are sufficiently deployed.
Being that West African countries are coming together and so on, are there logistics challenges? Being that different countries are putting heads together, are you good to go, so to say?
Well, I would say for Nigeria, we are sufficiently deployed. There are no challenges.
So how long do you think your intervention may last?
Well, it depends on a lot of things, but I don't think it's going to last for too long. The operation is to restore democracy in Gambia. That I believe we are already achieving, and we're going to achieve it sooner than you might think about. But you know, after that, there will be need for stabilization and to ensure there is absolute peace in the country. So how long that will take, I'll be able to say. But to install the democracy, that won't last any longer.
Well, thank you very much, sir. We'll be getting back to you in the course of operations to get more details. But for now, let's go back to the studio and continue with our telecast.
Thank you, Makut. We recall that Adama Barrow was sworn in as the Gambia's third president at the country's embassy in Dakar, Senegal, on Thursday. Chimdinman WBC reports that while taking the oath of office, 52-year-old Adama Barrow of the United Democratic Party pledged to uphold the Constitution of the Gambia and carry out constitutional and legal reforms. He called on the military to return to the barracks and remain loyal to the Constitution and the presidency. President Barrow also said that there is no loser, urging all citizens to come together. Attention across the world today shifts to the United States of America as Republican Donald Trump assumes office as the 45th president, an event that has far-reaching implications to Nigeria and Africa, as the new American leader is said to have little concern on the continent. Guests on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria, however, say it could be the turning point for the continent to look within in addressing her challenges. Salihu Abdullahi has a report.
The guests say Africa as a continent is equally endowed with abundant human and natural resources that hold a lot of potentials to propel her to political and economic development. They are of the view that despite not being on his agenda, Trump cannot completely ignore Africa, as there are existing bilateral and multilateral agreements that need to be respected.
He's moving America back to its post-Second World War history, which is about his isolationist disposition, which is around think internally, act internally.
Already, U.S. is only our number 3 trading partner behind China and European Union. So if you move away, other powers will move in to take your position.
And again, he's going to show his true color. He has already done, but that was during the campaign. Now it's time to govern. How is he going to govern when he gets into the White House?
Being a Republican president does not make him to ostracize Africa. It also depends on his personality. That is where Donald Trump's personality will come into play, irrespective of bipartisanship or not.
The guest re-emphasized that globalization has made it impossible for a country to unilaterally survive, and that Trump will soon come to terms with that. The guest, however, said it is an opportunity for Africa to stop relying on others and trade more with itself and other willing and friendly nations of the world. On the political development in Gambia, the guests say time is fast running out for Jammeh, who still claims leadership, as the world now only recognizes Barrow.
President Condé of Guinea, Conakry, is going there to try to mediate very last one now. Mauritania president was there yesterday, also trying to see how he can. So the last opportunity for him now is up till 12 o'clock this afternoon. If he doesn't, then he has to be flushed out.
As we applaud a responsibility to protect, that is, protect Gambians, their rights, we also have to be very mindful of another thing there, the conditions that give right to sit-tightism, and that is the notion of triumphalism.
The hope is that there is no bloodshed or something is peaceful, as being reported, that if the resistance is not put in, then it will be a quick walkthrough to take the power back and give it to the rightful.
The guest commended the ongoing peace efforts by ECOWAS and Nigeria's role in ensuring that the will of the people of the Gambia is respected. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
In a few minutes from now, the world will be witnessing the inauguration of Donald Trump as the 45th President of the United States. Donald Trump defeated Hillary Clinton, the presidential candidate, on the 8th of November 2016. The Nigerian Television Authority will give you live telecast of the inauguration as from 5 p.m. Nigeria is expecting an immediate impact after her participation and engagements with the private sector in the ongoing World Economic Forum in Davos. The optimism is coming from the Minister of Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enelama, who joined NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria via Skype. Salihu Abdullahi has that report again.
Brexit and the Donald Trump presidency dominated discussions at the World Economic Forum in Davos. But issues on economic recession affecting some countries, including Nigeria, the minister say also featured prominently. Enelama said Nigeria had a clear agenda at the forum, which is to fast-track the diversification agenda.
But let me say that whatever happens, Nigeria will stay engaged with the United States. We consider them an important partner. And this was also the views I had expressed around Davos, that the U.S. isn't going away and will continue to be an important partner to the rest of the world. And I believe that ultimately the U.S. will do the right thing. Concerning our relationship with the U.K., it's one we are working on. I think, we've had historic ties with the U.K. and they've reached out to us, and we will continue to work with them in the post-Brexit world.
The minister said Nigeria also used the forum to encourage private sector and the civil society to take advantage of the country's economic potentials.
We're very focused on how to use trade as a means for industrialization, both to attract investments and for industrialization. We're also interested in attracting the right sort of partners.
The World Economic Forum is an annual event and is significant for the economic development of growing nations like Nigeria. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Speaker, House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara says disciplined leadership is a panacea to a sustainable economic growth. The Speaker was speaking at this year's Daily Trust Dialogue in Abuja. Anthony Forson has that report.
Speaker Yakubu Dogara, whose concern centered around building an economy that will be competitive, said sacrifices must be made.
The government must muster the political will to effectively deploy resources to raise productivity in the agricultural sector. Notable aspect to modernization of agriculture is the encouragement and adoption of technology-enhancing approaches.
Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun and Atedo Peterside made their submissions from different perspectives.
Payroll represents 40% of government expenditure. 40% of everything we spend is on salaries. So we must focus on it.
I said borrowing alone is not and can never be a panacea. Indeed, borrowing without instituting necessary and badly needed economic and structural reforms is akin to suicide.
Chairman Board of Media Trust Kabir Yusuf said the choice of this year's topic was deliberately chosen to add to the discourse on the nation's economic growth. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed, who was at the occasion, spoke to newsmen on the dialogue.
Our future lies more in the capacity we have for discipline, the capacity we have for planning, in the capacity we have to actually look at the economy no longer from a monocultural, perspective, but from a diversified perspective.
He also commented on the accidental bombing in Borno State.
When we left Maiduguri, about 32 injured aid workers and IDP were already being treated and they were stabilizing. What happened is not a true reflection of the thorough professional conduct of the Air Force.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. There is no going back on the ban of importation of vehicles through the land borders. Customs Service insists. For this and more, let's join Vera in Lagos.
Lydia, good afternoon and welcome to Lagos. The Nigerian Police Force has reiterated its commitment to doing everything within its means to ensure a crime-free society. The Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 2, Kayode Aderonti, stated this while parading suspects in Lagos. Rotimi Oluwagbemi reports.
18 suspects arrested were paraded for various crimes ranging from armed robbery to defilement of minor. One of the suspects and the mother of the 6-year-old girl spoke with NTA News.
I once said the truck. He contacted me saying go buy 13 million naira. Now I tell her I say maybe 20. He say go buy 13. Now I say okay, make it big. The person who won't buy the Maggi 13 million naira. Make it big and make her say I go say. So the person when say one bring, we don't wait. I don't wait for her almost 2 days. I don't see the person. The next thing when I see now for Benin, na police SARS, 9 call carriers for Benin.
She now opened up that when the lesson is over, the teacher normally plays adult erotic movies for her to watch. And after that, he will come to her, start touching her body.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 2 Command, commended the efforts of his men that led to the arrest of the suspects. He enjoined everyone to be security conscious and report any criminal activities to the police.
We assure all Nigerians, and most especially residents of Lagos and Ogun State, the total commitment of this command in ensuring absolute security. Together we can achieve the more desired crime-free society.
Items recovered from the suspect include a Toyota Corolla car, a Lexus Jeep, truck containing goods that worth millions of naira, and other dangerous weapons used by the suspects. In Lagos, Rotimi Oluwagbemi, NTA News.
Activities at the 2 land borders between Nigeria and Benin Republic are at lowest ebb. This is sequel to the total compliance with the federal government's ban on importation of vehicles and rice through the land borders. Ablai Mohammed has a situation report.
Seme and Diroko borders have been a major route for the import of vehicles and rice into Nigeria, until recently when the federal government came up with a policy which banned the import of these items. The vehicles sit where the process of clearance usually takes place remains empty, except few vehicles which were not cleared before January 1st deadline and remain trapped at the Seme border. The controllers, Nigeria Customs Service Seme, Diroko and the Federal Operations Unit said new strategies are being implemented to enforce the federal government policy which prescribed the ban of the import of rice and vehicles through the land borders.
Since the government took the decision, and they know that we are always there to implement it, they have not attempted bringing in these vehicles. All they are trying to do is to ensure that they restrict themselves to bringing in general goods, which is what we are doing.
We are all out, the border commands, with federal operations and compliance team. We are working hand in hand with synergize with other security agencies to make sure that these vehicles don't come in at all. And it has gone far by even dismantling the vehicles seized in the borders commands.
Like the ban on rice, we have total control. We have been trying our best. Well, every day we seize and arrest vehicles, small vehicles, cars loaded with rice. And in November when I came in, remember we seized a whole tanker of rice.
The total ban on the import of vehicles and rice through the land borders is expected to stimulate activities at the Nigerian ports. These analysts say will boost revenue collection and create more jobs for Nigerians. In Lagos, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
And these are top stories from Lagos at this hour. Nationwide news continues with Lydia in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Vera. The House of Representatives has distributed copies of the 2017 budget to its members in preparation for the commencement of consideration. The Chairman House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Abdulrazak Namdas, made this known while briefing National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports.
Expenditure framework by the National Assembly is an indication that the legislators are getting set to commence the scrutiny of the 2017 budget. The Chairman House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Abdulrazak Namdas, confirmed the distribution of copies to members.
And as far as I'm concerned, I've collected my own copy, authentic copy. You understand? Because there is no any other copy other than the one given to me. And I've not had any complaint from anybody. And it was announced in the plenary that we should send our aides to go to particular offices and collect it. And I want to believe that all the members have collected. Nobody has complained because it's a public document. In fact, journalists should also have copy of it.
The distribution of copies to members is to ensure they study the content of the appropriation bill preparatory to further considerations. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nko, NTA News.
And the National Assembly has identified prudence and accountability as key to implementation of sustainable development programs, in government ministries, departments, and agencies in line with federal government's policies. This was when two agencies of government presented their 2016 budget performance. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Ezumba reports now.
The aim of the meeting is to assess the 2016 budget performance of some of the agencies to ensure that monies released are properly utilized and to help block corrupt practices. Executive Director Afrigist Adewale Akimbade said the total appropriation released in 2016 capital budget was 100 million, out of which 42.5 million was released. He also stressed that the agency wants to engage in international PhD in governance in 2017, but needs the support of the legislature in achieving this objective.
We want to have is for application of geospatial information technology in election administration, because everything that we do, sir, happen under the space.
The total expedition has broken down. Under it, I'm going to page 6. You have the closing balance of 2,178,096 kobo.
Chairman House Committee on Works, Toby Okechukwu, said the Federal School of Survey, Oyo, performed below expectations.
Considering the releases, they've gotten up to 75%. They have not actually performed. So we are going to oversight them and find out whether the value has been established for the expenses made.
The rectors was not been fortunate enough to have sufficient releases.
The rector of Federal School of Oyo was asked to appear before the committee on Tuesday, 24th January 2017 for proper presentation. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Isumba, NTA News.
The Partnership for Advocacy in Child and Family Health is urging reconsideration of the 2017 proposed health budget and upward review to a minimum of 10% in order to broaden healthcare delivery services in Nigeria. It was at a dialogue with the media. Gloria Kanem reports.
Participants at the workshop unanimously agreed that no sector of the Nigerian economy will function adequately if good health is not guaranteed. Hence, their advocacy for an increment of the 2017 budget, which is 21% cumulatively lower than that of 2016 due to the rate of the naira compared to the dollar.
The people in National Assembly have the right to adjust the budget if they feel it will be in the greater interest of the people. So in case that 1%, the National Health Act has stipulated, mandated for the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is not in the 2017 budget proposal, we are demanding that the National Assembly should please do the right thing by ensuring it is included.
So we're encouraging the private sector, the big entities to come partner with government, just like we've done at the primary healthcare center in Kuchigoro, where we try to revitalize the primary healthcare center to make it more functional so that people can access quality healthcare services.
You cannot have better access to quality healthcare without pumping money into it. So what you give is what you get.
The Partnership for Advocacy in Child and Family is a non-governmental organization that seeks accountability and commitment of stakeholders in providing quality and affordable healthcare services in Nigeria. They focus on family planning, maternal newborn child health, routine immunization and nutrition. In Abuja, Glory Ekanem, NTA News.
Time now to join Femichit in Jos for stories making rounds in that zone. Femichit, it's over to you.
The federal government is to partner with stakeholders to ensure completion of work at the Jos Haipang Inland Dry Depot. Minister of Transport Rotimi Amechi disclosed this during a working visit to Jos. Abba Abubakar Yakubu completes the report.
The minister said Jos Inland Dry Depot, which will serve citizens in the North Central states and the Federal Capital Territory, is a critical component of the present administration's economic plan. He urged stakeholders to settle out of court the lingering legal battle which followed the alleged demolition of the depot by immediate past administration.
This year, we're going to start the Lagos Ibadan. We think before April we should start the Lagos Ibadan. If we do have money from the China Exim Bank, we should be able to also start Kano to Kaduna and then be able to do Port Harcourt to Calabar.
Governor Lalong condemned the circumstances which led to suspension of construction work at the depot in the past and pledged total support for its completion. Meanwhile, Governor Lalong has earlier received the minister at a courtesy visit at Government House, Rayfield, where he called for the completion of rehabilitation work at the Yakubu Gowon Airport Haipang and construction of rail line between Jos and Abuja.
It's something we've been waiting for. We've anxiously been waiting for. Eagerly we've been waiting for until you came on board. We understand the unfortunate incident that happened last time, when all of a sudden a government will take a bulldozer and go and clear something that is going to be useful for the people of that state.
The minister promised that the rehabilitation of the airport will be completed this year, 2017, but the rail line will be considered after completion of the ongoing rehabilitation. In Jos, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
The traditional institution in Kanam has resolved to engage key stakeholders in consolidating the existing peace enjoyed in the area. To achieve this feat, the stakeholders say all ethnic, political and religious barriers must give way. Nid Dimka has the details.
The meeting, which had in attendance all members of the Kanam Traditional Institution, religious and political leaders, focused on the need to educate the youth on the dangers of drug abuse and crime, but to encourage them to pursue education with all vigor. Communicating in Hausa language, the stakeholders emphasized the need for the local government workforce to take their jobs more seriously, especially as government thrives to ensure prompt payment of salaries and wages. They charged essential service workers especially not to be found wanting in the delivery of their service, as healthcare delivery cannot be taken for granted.
We want to discuss about the conditions of the relationship between us as a traditional ruler and the people, and the need for us to ensure that we have social peace within the community.
Speakers at the meeting re-echoed the need for unity of purpose by all and sundry within the locality, as it is a sure way to move the local government forward. They applauded the gesture with the hope that such platforms be created at various levels amongst the people.
That has been what we have promised the people earlier when we were looking for votes. And I believe this is a very good moment for us to actually tell them that what we have been telling them even before we go into governance, that we have not forgotten. And that is the essence why we are coming back.
The attendees at the meeting are expected to take issues discussed to their wards for the betterment of Kanam local government area in particular and the state at large. Nit Dimka, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from Jos. Lydia, it's back to you for more news.
Thanks, Femi Chit. Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi says any land not cultivated in the state within this year's farming season will be taken over by the state government for agricultural purpose. The governor made this known during a praise night held at the Abakaliki Township Stadium to round off a two-day prayer and fasting organized by the Christian Association of Nigeria, Ebonyi State Chapter. Chinaza John has the details.
A 2 days prayer and fasting, which climaxed with a praise night, attracted top government functionaries, the clergy and different agencies, departments and parastatals in the state. Governor David Umahi said government is re-strategizing to achieve food sufficiency for the nation, which necessitated the recent granting of some days off to political office holders for agricultural activities. He stressed that a bill will be sent to the State House of Assembly to that effect, and also to legalize the payment of monthly stipend to widows in the state.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they have to be in the villages. We have to take number one that we have taken in agriculture in this country.
Government House Chaplain Pastor Eunice Oyeyemi and some clergies said to attract God's blessings in 2017, everyone should be diligent in their service to God and humanity.
If you serve the Lord God, everything that you have will be enough.
When people gather and praise Him, then God feels very comfortable and feels happy.
The participants, including the General Manager NTA Abakaliki, Mr. Emeka Okbala, lauded the initiative.
He's inviting God so that every Eboyan will know God. And once you know God, peace. We want to use this praise as a standpoint.
The praise night witnessed song ministration by various groups and prayers for the nation, families, and the state government. In Abakaliki, Chinaza John, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. You're watching Nationwide on the NTA network. More reports when we return after the break. Don't go away.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Only you blind, you deaf, dumb, you even mental.
Brother mi, ẹ má dá lóhùn. Olórí burúkú ló pọ̀jù nínú wọn.
Brother, you go slap me now.
Expect the cops though.
See fine girl. Oh, brother, me.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Yomi Fash Lanso, Stephen Odingbe.
I just realized I ran out of fuel and I forgot my ATM and wallet at home. Sir, please, could you help me with anything?
Ego transport nowadays, are you going to Igwenga?
Sir.
Mon Dieu. Hey, Olani, you have eyes to look at Kebe, Abi. So shall it be permanent in your life.
Professor John Bull, this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times.
I have catch a big liar in our family.
And who could that be?
Is she a baby papa? Abi, is he a baby mama? Abi, a baby what?
Over and out.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
The essence of having a leader. When you promise, you make sure that you fulfill your promises. And that's what I'm after in particular, the success of my husband's administration. And he can't do it alone except with the help of the governor's wives, and all members of our progressive party.
Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com. You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956. Jade's Hotels. Welcome to life.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Go to so let the change begin from within. Look at you, oh Gerula. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
For over 25 years, I have been privileged to anchor various programs on television. But the news program that I find most exciting and challenging is The Weekend File. This is largely because of its philosophy of engaging all classes of people, the artisans, politicians, technocrats, captains of industry, and professional analysts on issues that touch all aspects of life and living. In the conversations that follow, you find complexities, different views, ideologies, thought patterns, and individual beliefs. It's quite engaging. We do this Saturdays on NTA network service at 9 p.m. It's Weekend File, but you call it Weekend Companion, and it's all about nation building. Join me, Kyrian Umayo, and production crew every Saturday for this weekend treat, and I can tell you that it is unmissable. Make it a day.
Welcome back. Latest report from the Gambia says Yaya Jammeh has agreed to step down but demanded amnesty for any crimes that he may have committed during his 22 years in power. Jammeh, who started negotiations with ECOWAS on Thursday, also demanded permission to stay in Gambia at his home village of Kaniala. However, these demands are not acceptable to ECOWAS, as it noted that Jammeh's continued presence in the Gambia would create disturbances to public order and terrorist movement. Final talks are being led by the Guinean President Alpha Condé in the Gambia's capital, Banjul. Jammeh has the choice to step him down peacefully and follow President Alpha Condé or be taken out by force. Still on the Gambian crisis, we have Nigeria's former ambassador to Liberia, Ambassador Ayo Adigun, in an interview with Anne Jibuno to shed more light on the Gambian crisis.
We heard that Yaya Jammeh has stepped down. What really is the implication of this on the Gambia?
It feels very clear, ab initio, that we are going to get to this stage. But let me make it abundantly clear that since the swearing in of Adama Barrow at the Gambian embassy in Dhaka yesterday, Yaya Jammeh has lost legitimacy to power and all his appurtenances. He doesn't deserve anything. He has refused to take a line of resistance by, they wanted to give him soft landing. He has refused. So what I expect now is that this operation will be very swift with minimal bloodshed, although a lot of Gambians and other foreigners are evacuated. But I know the powers that are added against Jammeh is too formidable for him to counter.
What was your reaction when you heard the news?
I was elated because I know that this is a victory for democracy and that the ECOWAS has succeeded in doing so. So we are not going to have the likes of Jammeh in West African sub-region again. That's what I see. And it's a success because as it is now, I expect that immediately they will march into Gambia today, tomorrow, and whatever, Jammeh must be arrested. He must be put under house arrest. He has no longer presidential traveling to decide what will happen to him. The ECOWAS and the international community will decide. So, for me, I think this is a very, very gladding news, and I think that is what I've even canceled for, that this man is not in his right frame of mind, and he should be tossed out. And it's a victory for democracy. We have had enough of problems with West Africa. We don't need additional one.
All right, Adama Barrow was sworn in, and what does this really imply for the Gambia?
This is a new beginning for them again. After 22 years of bad governance, poverty, and a human rights violation, they are now going to have a government that will now face the reality of situation and put Gambia back into the map, put Gambia back to international organization, back to Commonwealth, and so on. But as it is also a warning to any of his likes in West Africa that wants to stay tight, that is sitting tight will no longer be tolerated, and ECOWAS has done it again, and I think this is an achievement that ECOWAS has done to restore democracy and good governance, and that's what they should do in the country now, to restore democracy, good governance, calm the people, and whatever, arrest Jammeh, and later they will decide whether it's to face the International Criminal Court, because he has cases of human rights violations, and the various killings he has done, he will answer for it. He must not go scot-free. That is my point.
He's actually asking to stay in his village.
Well, it has to be decided, because now, if he has said that before, it could have been more honorable for him. But now, it is very clear that he cannot be in Gambia along with the new government. So his case has to be decided. He has to be arrested. Whatever they want to do, he has refused to take the soft landing approach. But now he's on his own. That's the way I look at it. He must face justice for whatever crimes he will have committed for 22 good years. I think that is necessary to serve as a lesson.
Now the president, Adama Barrow, is in Senegal.
Yes.
What does this really mean? What does it imply for the Gambia?
You see, you are talking of whether you are having two presidents as I'm here. There is no question of two presidents now. We have the legitimate president, Barrow, who has taken over. There is no legal decision that he should not be sworn in or decision. So, as far as I'm concerned, we have a new president, and as far as also we are concerned, Jammeh is an interloper. He has lost legitimacy to be commander-in-chief and the president of the Republic of Gambia. That is the point. That is what is to do. So what remains now is to move him in.
Away from the Gambia crisis now, the Nigerian Society of Engineers has offered offered professional advice on the proposed closure of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport for repair works, stressing that the project could be done while the airport is in operation. This came to the fore at a briefing between the executives of the NSE with National Assembly legislators who are its members. Ifeanyi Ezumba has that.
The society came to make a representation of their professional colleagues for better understanding of its position so that the legislators can advise government. NSE president said those who proposed the closure did it in good faith, but professionally it is not tidy with available 21st century engineering technology.
Segmentation of the work will still leave us with that possibility to keep the airport open. And then you don't need to make all these movements.
Levels are taken for every piece of engineering work that you do. The maintenance of the airport is not rocket science. The Nigerian engineers are up to the task. They can do it.
NSC is concerned about enhancing standards and ethical practices in the profession. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps has established 8 additional outposts along the Abuja-Kaduna Highway to effectively manage the anticipated human and vehicular movement during the closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi stated this while reviewing their 2016 end-of-year special patrol. Aliyu Tiku has details.
The planned diversion of operations to Kaduna Airport, the Corps Marshal says, informs these strategies.
We are deploying more patrol vehicles, ambulances, and a recovery vehicle there to ensure that with the increased vehicular density along the road.
On the 2016 end-of-year special patrol, he says the Corps recorded success, which he attributed to combination of efforts by relevant authorities and federal government support with adequate logistics for traffic control. The statistics shows 790 traffic crashes recorded during the special patrol, with over 400 deaths, about 2,000 persons injured, and close to 3,000 rescued without injury. With speed being the major cause of the crashes, the Corps says the full enforcement of the installation of speed limit device in commercial vehicles will take off from 1st of February 2017. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ite-Bas says the construction of decent accommodation for personnel and their families to enhance productivity is an obligation the Nigerian Navy under his leadership is committed to discharge. Vice Admiral Ibas stated this during the inauguration of some accommodation units at the Naval Ship Pathfinder, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Kingsley Amajiri has details.
The accommodation is made up of 6 blocks of well-furnished 120 rooms for ratings within the Nigerian Navy Ship Pathfinder Barracks. The Chief of Naval Staff maintained that the ability of the Nigerian Navy to maintain credible presence at the sea depends on a well-motivated manpower that is trained and catered for. Hence, he considered the provision of medical care, quality training, and decent accommodation for the officers and ratings a priority.
I consider the welfare of personnel a premium and cardinal requirement for attaining greater efficiency in the Navy. In this light, provision of decent accommodation for personnel is not considered a luxury, rather an obligation to which I remain committed.
Inaugurating the project, Governor Nyesom Wike commended the Chief of Naval Staff for his commitment to providing befitting accommodation for his men and assured him of the state's government support to the Nigerian Navy by providing gunboats.
Thank you for what you are doing for the Navy for the protection of the national assets. If you're not protected, more revenue will not come to the state. Because they are protecting our oil pipelines and the rest, that's why more money is coming.
Earlier, the Naval Chief inaugurated the remodeled Navy Ship Pathfinder Main Gate in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And from Abakaliki, National Coordinator for Buhari Osinbajo Initiative for Demonstrative Change, Comrade Chinedu Oga, has urged Indigbo to cooperate with President Muhammadu Buhari to enable him right past wrongs against Indigbo by past governments. Comrade Oga said this during a courtesy visit to the new general manager of NTA Abakaliki, Emeka Okpala. Charles Igboamalu reports.
Comrade Oga, who commended NTA Abakaliki for balanced coverage of events in Ebonyi State, urged it to sustain the tempo. He urged Ndigbo to join the All Progressive Congress, APC, which he described as a national movement for change and correction of past mistakes in governance. Comrade Oga debunked the notion that President Muhammadu Buhari is against Ndigbo, adding that resumption of work on the second Niger Bridge and the commencement of rehabilitation work on some major federal routes in the southeast proves the contrary.
The problem we are having in this country is patience. President Muhammadu Buhari is really a godsend to this country. A man that is not asking of himself, is asking of ours. So most of the media should now try to crusade that program. Make sure the people on the grassroots see what this man is doing.
General Manager NTA Abakaliki, Mr. Emeka Okpala, commended Comrade Chinedu Oga for his past support to the station and enjoined other stakeholders in the state to assist NTA to serve it better. In Abakaliki, Charles Igboamalu, NTA News.
The People's Democratic Party Governors Forum has elected Governor Ayodele Fayose of Ekiti State as its new chairman. This formed part of the resolutions of the forum's meeting held in Abuja. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Benin Kudu has the details.
It was an expanded meeting with the party's caretaker committee leadership, Board of Trustees members and Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu in attendance. The meeting unanimously endorsed Governor Fayose to replace undusted Governor Olusegun Mimiko, whose tenure ends in February.
I take this responsibility at a time the party needs somebody to stand up, and I'm sure you all know that we will do it to represent you and to represent Nigerians well.
The party will work together with the new chairman of the forum and give the party more effective leadership and focus, going forward.
The meeting also discussed the state of the party.
What we are seeing today is part of our rebuilding efforts to reposition our party ahead of 2019.
This is the beginning of the success and the continuation of the party to be one.
The report of the party's strategic committee was also presented before the governors for adoption. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
We now bring our sports update with Deinde Sani.
Federation Cup winners Rivers Angels and Nasarawa Amazons are set to contest for the 2017 Winners' Cup at the FIFA Go Project Abuja.